Ladies and gentlemen, the New Orleans Saints offense continues to struggle, and it has literally reached a breaking point with Derek Carr heated on the sideline during the game. Head coach Dennis Allen, Alvin Kamara, and Derek Carr all gave explanations as to what is going on with the Saints right now. Reading between the lines, it appears that we have finally discovered the real issue with the New Orleans Saints offense. We're going to break down this depressing L for the New Orleans Saints. Make sure to like and subscribe for more NFL content. And by the way, we will be live on Thursday on my Raiders channel, WiFiWillie Raiders. That's where I go live for all my game streams. And we're going to be reacting to the Saints versus Jaguars on Thursday Night Football, play-by-play and reaction. Make sure you join us. The Saints offense has flashed at times with some big plays, deep long bombs to wide receivers Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. It has flashed, but has culminated in not that many points. And this past game was a perfect example of that, where Derek Carr had over 350 yards. It is actually the most yards he has had in a single game since Thanksgiving in 2021 against the Dallas Cowboys. And we have seen criticism of Pete Carmichael not only from the fans. The fans have been critical of this guy, but Alvin Kamara after the Buccaneers game when the Saints had an L against Baker Mayfield, Kamara was not holding back in his criticism of Pete Carmichael. Things look like they were going on the right track after blowing out the New England Patriots. Maybe the New England Patriots are just that bad, so the Saints got lucky that week, but it really did feel like the offense was different, and it really did feel like they were clicking. But in this game against the Houston Texans, all that positive stuff was completely gone, and the Saints took some steps backwards. And it ended with another upset Alvin Kamara on the sideline. You saw him talking to Jameis Winston here, making some weird faces, and he even had a response on Twitter saying that it's a private conversation and that we all need to stay out of it. The Saints could have had 6 more points if it wasn't for 2 missed field goals by Blake Grupe, and one of these was less than 40 yards. But I guess it's okay for Grupe because he had Cam Jordan able to console him through this. These two look like they're in some sort of Big Brother program. But the main thing that's on everybody's mind is, what is the problem with the Saints offense? Why are they hot sometimes but then unable to score in the red zone? And what was so crazy is you had all this discussion from people like Alvin Kamara talking about accountability and people doing the right thing throughout the week.
And again, I'll circle back to what DeMario said. I don't know what everybody else is doing to prepare. There's a certain type of sacrifice that you have to make to be able to come out here and play at a certain level, at an elite level. So I just hope everybody's doing that.
You also had Derek Carr after the game also make similar comments where he was saying that every detail matters. You have to do everything right in your preparation. And it seems like him and Alvin Kamara were sort of hitting on the same points here. And Alvin Kamara praised certain players who he knows are going to be accountable, but is not sure about everybody on the Saints team.
DeMario was saying it too. Look in the mirror. And did you do what you did last week this week, or did you just enjoy it? Enjoy the week too much. And if we don't do those details right, and every single time, especially when the game's on the line, that's when it matters most, then we're going to have this feeling more often than not.
I'm going to go sacrifice personal time to try and be ready and give my all for this team to get in the winning column. I know I can look at 13, I can look at 94, 56, 4, 70, like it just got to trickle down to everybody.
We've seen players like Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave make amazing plays on the Saints offense. Rashid Shaheed actually sort of bailed out Derek Carr here on this 51-yard long bomb. Shaheed had to come back and make a contested catch for it. Granted, it was a 50-yard bomb, but Carr should have got that out a little earlier. But he saw him make that big play. Made a big play on the touchdown reception on the post route. Him and Carr were connecting there. Chris Olave, we've seen him make big plays. He had a big catch in this game in the second half, but I will say there were multiple moments when I was wondering if Chris Olave and Derek Carr are on the same page, and based on some of the comments that we've seen from some of the players and the coaches after the game, leads me to believe that the receivers, some receivers, we're not sure exactly who, are not clicking with the quarterback, are not running the right routes. And I think Chris Olave is a great player, but there were multiple times in the first half of the game where you saw Chris Olave have a chance at the football, have a chance to make a play, and he sort of gave up on routes. He sort of stopped running. There's 2 occasions where this happened deep, and look, I'm not saying that this is right on the money, a perfect pass, but at the end of the day, if you want to be a top wide receiver in the NFL, you have to go up and make a play when you are given an opportunity. The big thing here is Derek Carr is making a lot of adjustments at the line line of scrimmage. That is how this offense is designed. So players really need to know what they're doing differently when an adjustment is made, and it seems like Dennis Allen is pointing out the fact that receivers aren't always running the proper routes.
I mean, there's very few plays that are just, here's the play call, and this is what we're doing, no matter what the defense does. Most of them have some sort of potential check, adjustment based on, what the defense is doing. And so I think that communication has to be better. I think we've got to work on that with the coaching staff. I think the quarterbacks and the receivers have to do a better job of making sure they're on the same page. We don't run a proper route. There's something that happens that, keeps us from being able to score touchdowns down there.
Derek Carr hit on this same point in his press conference, saying that they have great, amazing talent, and yes, they do. But if the play changes and you don't do your assignment right, it doesn't matter.
We have the talent to do the right things, but we have to do the right things, even if the look may change this much, to finish those drives. Yes, we may be running the same play, but a new defense presents different looks. And you have to, when we break the huddle, what is my assignment versus that look? What is my assignment when the picture changes a little bit than what I saw in practice,
There was a moment late in the game when Rashid Shaheed was given a chance by Derek Carr when he was pressured immensely. He threw the ball up, and Rashid Shaheed could have tracked the ball and made a play here, but he did not make an adjustment in real time, and it ended up incomplete, and that was a huge missed opportunity. There was another moment late in the game with Chris Olave. He ran an out route, and there's under a minute to go. There was under like 50 seconds to go in this game. The clock needs to be stopped. People need to be conscious of the time, and Chris Olave on this out route does not get out of bounds, and the clock continues to run, forces the offense to go into a hurry up mode, and then you see confusion in the hurry up mode from Chris Olave. He seems unsure about what he needs to do on the next play, and then the very next play is going to him, and it's supposed to be a deep route to him in the end zone. He has absolutely no idea. He is nowhere near the ball, and it's an incomplete pass. Another missed opportunity, another miscommunication between the wide receivers and the quarterback altogether. Look, offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael does deserve some criticism, especially for the first few games of the season, but I think these past 2 weeks he's called a decent game. Derek Carr also deserves criticism in this game. There were moments when he missed throws as well, but I think more importantly, there are moments late in the game where you need a play. And even if people are not executing around you, even if the offensive line is struggling and they gave up tons of sacks, Derek Carr was getting cracked. But there are moments in this game when Derek Carr could have scrambled, could have extended plays a little more, but he elected to throw it out of bounds and to throw it away. And I just think late in the game, at the end of the day, you need a play, you need to do something. Instead of giving up on the play, being quick to throw it incomplete to live another down, you got to try to do something towards the end of the game, especially in the red zone. Give yourself a chance. The frustration at the end of the game culminated in an angry Derek Carr. This video surfaced on the internet. It was Derek Carr going up to Pete Carmichael, shouting at the guy. Things looked a little heated there. Derek Carr was absolutely pissed, pointing in different directions, and he admitted that the frustration got to him after the game, and he even had to apologize to Pete Carmichael.
I apologized to Pete actually on the airplane because I was talking to Pete, but I wasn't talking about Pete. Pete and I know exactly what I was talking about and why. And when the game's on the line, that's when you have to be on every detail of your assignment. And I was a little upset at some of those things, and so it had nothing to do with Pete. He just happened to be the one that walked up when I was a little angry.
Even though this video looked intense, and I originally thought that Derek Carr was yelling at Pete Carmichael, perhaps he was upset with Pete Carmichael's play calling, but after watching the tape and breaking down some of the things that people said after the game, Carr himself also clearing up the fact that he was not yelling at Pete, but about something going on, I think the focus here is on the routes. I think when this team is talking about the fact that if players aren't going to execute, they need to find people who can. I think they're talking about the fact that some of these receivers, when it really counts, when it's a really clutch play, sometimes do not follow their right assignment when they're making adjustments. But I do not think the solution is for the Saints to move on from their play caller in the middle of the season, their offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael, or to even bench any of these wide receivers, because we've seen some of these young wide receivers, even though it's been frustrating in some of these games, we've seen them make huge plays. And I think with more reps, with better communication from the coaching staff and the quarterback to the receivers, maybe just simplifying the offense altogether, who knows? but I think these guys can still turn it around. The season is still young. They're 3-3 right now, and they're facing a Jacksonville Jaguars team this Thursday that is quite tough. Trevor Lawrence is a little banged up, but it just seems like with the Saints, if they just execute a few more plays here and there, it could finally be the electrifying offense that we've seen at times throughout this season. And I will be live reacting to this game, whether or not there's pain or glory, on my Raiders channel, WiFiWillie Raiders. That's why I go live all the time as my first YouTube channel. I'm always going to do all my lives there. So I will be doing play-by-play and reaction during the game. The link to my WiFiWillie Raiders channel is in the pinned comment below, so make sure you check that out if you want to hang out during the game Thursday Night Football live. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.